too far away from each other, or are these good spots?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Too far away?
No, it's totally fine. Whatever you like, you can become closer. Whatever you feel it.
Yeah,
it's
just
cool.
how it looks for.
Yeah, I mean, both would work. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for having us.
We are performance art duo Kainulainen and Latva.
In Finnish we are called performanssitaiteen duo Kainulainen Latva.
Amazing.
We use that in both languages, as we also work outside of Finland. Together we have done some 11 years, and this exhibition that you're seeing here includes works from 10 first years of our collaboration.
A mutual friend of ours, me, Dunker, curated us together in this group happening in Madhouse Helsinki in the year
2014.
Yeah.
2014.
Yeah, but she did what she did very deliberately. She didn't hide it. She said that the two of you should be together, and now you're invited to do something. And it clicked immediately. It is as life is. We work really tightly together, so it's difficult to say what is work and what is something else.
Yeah, it's basically solving problems and creating new ones.
That's nicely put.
All the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you manage?
I think one of our treasures is the veto right, that we are not forcing each other to processes where one is absolutely saying that I don't want this, I can't do this. So I think this is where the limit goes. There's always, the starting point has to be that you do it voluntarily, whatever you do, more or less, because it's hard. It's also hard. We have periods, different kind of periods, and one certain kind of period is when a performance is coming up. So the routine is to meet 10 o'clock at the studio and start the suffering. We are really banging our heads together, and it might look like we're not even working. A lot of time I am sitting in front of a table and Max is cleaning or doing something else, but the connection is the important thing, that we're in the same room, and whenever something comes up you can say it aloud, and you can take it up and start sculpturing it. And we don't do that for really many hours at time, because it's really heavy, even though, like I said, it might look like we're not even creating anything, but the energy can get really high. And if we're frustrated, or even the worst, if one is frustrated, it's really tough. What do we do for the rest of the day?
The rest of the day, well, I have my morning routines to get my system kind of working, the drawing, maybe somehow centers me. It's quiet, I'm alone. I can make as many mistakes as I want, or even more. But as for working together, it was a giant leap, I'd say. I realized that for me, sitting down, maybe talking, planning, as you usually do in the meetings or whatever, doesn't work for me. I need to physically move. So I might, clean things, walk around. But as long as I move, my mind is still working. But when I sit down, it's all about trying to be still.
Like in school.
Like in school, it takes lots of energy. And somehow my mind gets stuck in useless loops. But if I move around, things start to emerge.
And this is again where we are the complete opposites of each other. If I have to think about something, I cannot do anything. I just sit and think because I get so distracted. And the terrible thing that I might get inspired by something also could happen, but it's never what I was supposed to do. I can start sewing a dress mistakenly when I was supposed to work in a performance. So these kind of processes can take many years until you realize that what you want to say to your partner is that I cannot sit still when I'm thinking, or the opposite. And then you have to figure out how to do it when what you want and what you need is the total opposite.
Yes, and accepting that our needs are very different it's essential in our work, I think.
It's essential, and sometimes it really hurts.
It does.
Because we would want to...
well, work in a different way.
Yeah.
But in our performances, it creates, I think, a certain kind of tension.
Yeah. We already talked about how differently we feel about the audience. For me, the eyes of the audience bring some kind of peace, and for you it creates such anxiety, but we're doing it together. So I think these kind of contradictions might be one of the things why it feels like it's a good idea to work together. Both, I think, both are morning persons. We avoid making appointments or anything in the afternoon even, because then the energy is totally gone. In the morning it's just a little bit gone.
Okay.
Yeah, at 5 in the morning I can do anything.
For me it's 8.
Really?
So
5 and 8.
we also have a private time. He's 3 hours before.
Depends. Usually I start my days drawing. Pencil drawings. I think right now I'm moving house, so my routines are shattered and I'm a bit lost. I find it really hard to find anything to eat because everything's unfamiliar and the movements I have to make to get things are get confusing because I need this kind of routine for certain things to be functional, otherwise it just takes too long. And it's tiring, you know, I'm just basically making breakfast and 2 hours gone, I haven't eaten yet. But I hope to get my routines back up and running soon. Idea, they are images. Usually, I have to say, out of nowhere comes an image. It might be a still image or an action. Doing something on your own, or then the two of us doing something.
Yes.
And then we just go from there. What do you think of this idea? I'm not sure. It's pushed away. It might resurface, say, a year or two later in an altered form, perhaps.
Yes, or then in the actual same form, but you just realize that it didn't resonate on the first time, then a couple of years later you could wake up and remember that, oh, Max said this, that I want to do it. I said no then. And for me, these images really often include a repetitive movement. For example, for the performance that we did here just less than a few weeks ago, the whole idea started with the idea that I knew that I want to grind something against the floor, something that leaves a mark, and that created the basics for the whole performance that then grew into a half an hour performance with a lot of different things happening in it, but this is how it started.
Yeah, so we have an image. We don't usually know, is this in the middle or beginning or in the end? And then we just, I guess, think.
Yeah, it's
For
a lot
want
of
a better word.
it's a lot of adjusting.
But we don't think as in ideas other than images. What kind of image would go with this? And sometimes it's like, okay, we have these two images, but you can't go from this to that. We need something in between. What could it be? And as for meanings and interpretations, they all come afterwards. So we don't start with any certainty what this is or what is it wanting to say.
I think it could be a lot of things that come together so that you don't think you're working, you don't think you're looking for any inspiration. It's things that affect your mind. For example, I have noticed repeatedly that even though medieval church paintings are not a big interest to me, I seem to keep coming back to that kind of, I don't know, thematics even, but the visual settings, and I find them in my works afterward. These kind of things could happen. You don't know that you're being inspired by something, but it affects you throughout the years. Good question. I think I see the same dreams as I did when I was a kid. So for me, it seems to work the same way artistically. That I haven't changed. I'm just bigger and older. I think it's the same. But the thing is that with a lot of repetition, with a lot of practice and a lot of work, you get more precise with how to say what you feel, what you're seeing in front of you.
Yeah. How about you, Vince? Where's inspiration come from?
I got stuck in that dreams part. I used to have really violent dreams, so that I would wake up screaming.
You did?
And not so much anymore.
It stopped. It stopped maybe within 2 years from when we started being together and working together.
Yeah. Probably like the earliest performances I did on my own, I was still in school, not an art school. I don't have art education or education of any sort, really. It was acting out, basically, because I felt the environment was suffocating. Those days, it was really difficult for a young person not to be expressing their gender in, a strictly binary way. So I got beaten up, and I always had problems with the teachers. So I used to just go lie down somewhere where it's not proper to lie down in a public space, being in a very vulnerable position. So that's where it started, and I guess I processed my trauma since those days and made some progress, and now I do other things besides lying down. I still do that, I notice.
Yeah, it's in a lot of performances where you just lie down, but it's doing a lot. I have seen a photo of you as a teenager in a bank. It's a crappy old photo, and you're laying down on the on the floor in a bank office.
And what were you thinking about when you're lying down in the bank?
I have no idea. It wasn't like I had a plan or a concept. It was just, now I'm doing this. Well, inspiration is maybe not the word, because they more like bothered me. I still suffer from insomnia, which is nightmares of insomnia. Insomnia is worse. But no, I don't think we get stuff from our dreams that much. Our dreams.
I guess yes, because we don't remember most of our dreams. I have a feeling that they come through. So they come to the visible world like that.
Without acknowledging it, basically.
Well, yes, I think my dreams tend to be too technically demanding for performance. They are often apocalyptic, these huge, colorful landscapes where it's all kinds of destruction going on.
But you are a landscape, and when you perform, you can create an atmosphere of a very large space. So I deny what you're saying. And also, you have said so many times that performance art is magic gone wrong. So I think while planning for a new performance, you can plan whatever that you would like it to look like, and then just adjust to the physical world, realizing that it won't happen that way, but that could be the starting point.
Yes, and obviously, at least I can say for myself that whatever I now say and think about our art, I will probably regret tomorrow and think, oh, I should have said something completely different. So things are constantly changing.
I don't want to sound arrogant, but I don't feel like I have creative blocks. I feel like I wouldn't even have time for them. And one way to do that is to book performances. Because when the time comes, you have to present something, and the audience will be there, and the gallery is going to be announcing. So you do what you have to do to make things happen. And another thing is that we spend so much time with the applications to find some grant money and to find new places to perform at. So personally, I don't have blocks where I would just sit and feel frustrated.
Yes, I would say sometimes, often, most of the time actually, it's hard to come up with good ideas. But instead of going to a weekend retreat or meditating or something, I'll just keep trying, doing the same thing all over again, to keep some kind of a routine, like making mistakes. You know, it's quite stressful, you know, to squeeze images out of your mind when you feel like everything is lost and I have nothing to give. And then, okay, I have to think of an image. And obviously, most of the time it's crap. And you pull out all those crap ideas until you find something that could work. So that kind of process, I wouldn't say I'd recommend it. There are much nicer ways of going about things. You can try meditation, didn't work for me. But yeah, it's just basically banging your head on the wall until either your head or the wall crumbles. Maybe it's easiest to take drawing, you know, oh, this is going great. Yes, something is definitely forming here, and then next day you realize, I have completely messed up the basic composition. So this will not be what I thought it would be. I have to change things, make it into something different. So that's, I think, how the works find their final form. They won't be quite what I thought at first, but something different. It's like, well, let's forget what I said about banging your head on the wall. It's more like being water. You know, there's something you can't get through, you go over it, under it, and if you keep doing that, you will eventually erode that stone or whatever and find new paths.
But that's also how the performances are made. It almost never happens so that the original idea is then later presented as such to the audience. There are so many versions and so many little darlings that you have to kill, and then you might end up with the first idea anyway, but you've done 2 months with around to all the wrong directions. Like water. Really interesting question.
I'm tempted to say no, because for me that's the only way to create, making mistakes. I mean, we have built so much stuff that doesn't work. Taken it apart, okay, this has to be something else.
And then it has become something else. It can take 7 years. So at least one shouldn't be afraid of mistakes. But we can rarely decide how we feel, right? When you have an emotion, you can face it and then make decisions of what you do with that emotion and what your next action is. But failure, I am afraid of. Mistakes, not that much. It's a horrible feeling to perform in front of an audience that looks bored or unfocused. I am afraid of those moments, and it sometimes happens. I accept it. It's like sports, athletics. When you do a really bad workout, it doesn't mean that you stop that, then you go the next day again. That's how. But I know a lot of artists who are threatening their friends and colleagues with how they will stop making art. And it looks like some people even get energy from that. Maybe it's a sensation that I thought that I'm quitting, but I didn't. So that's probably one source of movement as well, but I never had that. I am more worried that what if I never stop? Because it's tiring.
Of course it is.
Look at this.
Yeah, it depends. For shorter performances, we have like a set of images that we are supposed to go through, but because this is not theatre, we don't rehearse things, so there's always surprises, and things can change. We may forget something, or something unexpected comes up, and we use that. But then for longer performances, if it's hours, it's kind of jumping into a well and trying to swim.
There have been a lot of things that we've seen on video or photos later on, and neither of us even remembered that we did this kind of a thing.
Yes, absolutely. There's some things that I've seen that I'm like, I would never do that, but it's there.
There are people who are professional improvisers who have education and who have the will to deliberately do that, but I wouldn't say that we are from that realm of performance. We are something else. I think it's more like a
Desperation.
combination of a desperate action and something maybe shamanistic, if you like, that you are in a certain kind of mode and things come out through you.
Can't think of anything.
It's so difficult to even recall the performances. Actually, sometimes there comes this question about a certain thing, what happened or didn't happen, and we have to look in our portfolio that what have we actually done. These experiences mix up with each other and it's a flow.
What was the question again? Suddenly I'm completely lost.
I talked about the memory that you could never forget.
Oh, yes, the memory, I forgot. After a performance, I usually don't remember what just happened because, well, might be a combination of things. For one, I'm really afraid of performing. I don't feel comfortable around people, especially crowds, and it's terrible to realize that people are looking at you.
But this is interesting because for me it's the opposite. I find peace in this moment where things are planned, you cannot change so many things anymore, and then the people are there and they're not moving and they're looking. That's when you know that now I just need to do this. I think it could be the exact opposite as an experience for us. Anything or during performance? Did you think of something?
No.
I remember a moment when you had stopped talking and sleeping and eating for days. You were completely pale in the face. We had a performance coming up. You worked. You somehow worked. You did things that you had promised to do, but you couldn't communicate at all. And your eyes were totally blank. I couldn't connect in any way. And during the performance, you only did one thing. You were playing that broken kantele of yours and drumming the strings with some sausages. You were wearing a black suit and this fur hat, a really big, thick fur hat. And while you were doing it, I was thinking that you're gonna get some kind of a stroke because it must be so hot for you. And you did that maybe for 1 or 3 hours or something. And after that, you were totally fine. You were relaxed. You were really nice and friendly and very open. So that drumming session changed something in your condition utterly.
The magic healing powers of performance art. Yes, I had these dissociative episodes. Not so much anymore, really. But yeah, ever since I was a child, because of some adverse experiences during my childhood. And yeah, I kind of disappeared for, it could be seconds, minutes, hours, sometimes days. And usually I wouldn't remember anything that happened during that time. But yes, not so much anymore. So, I don't know. Something changed. What we have done, our practice has probably helped a lot. Exactly how, I couldn't say.
For me, it's obvious. You have been seen and you've been heard by your partner and by your audience. That's a really strong healing power. And also, you could get some energy out that was stuck in your mind and in your body. It's no wonder to me. I think it's natural. But also, I'm thinking of another moment a couple of years ago in Riga, in the Riga Performance Festival, where I had a really long hair still. And during the performance, Max cut my hair, and I remember this sound of the scissors that he had taken from between my buttocks, because we had to hide the scissors from the audience during the first part of the performance.
Magic.
And I remember this sound, realizing my hair is gone.
Really? But you already know that.
Yeah.
That it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it was planned, but that's something I do a lot. I make promises and commitments that I don't fully understand while making them,
Okay.
and then I get to live through them in real life. That's performance.
That's the essence of performance.
One of the many essences of performance art.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
You don't, do you?
Well, it's part of our work. We've made a commitment of giving a performance, and I've made a promise. So it's, you can be afraid of things and do act, be there, be present. It's not the most pleasant feeling, but it's doable. There's basically two options. You can run and hide, or just accept that this is very uncomfortable. And also, you need to concentrate so much on what we are doing here that kind of the noise of the audience doesn't crush you completely.
And the time changes. It's weird how the time changes. sometimes you can realize that it's been just 1 minute and we are supposed to do 3 more hours and I'm done already. But it can be also the opposite, that you realize that just 3 minutes have gone and it feels like a different world that you created together with the audience. Time really changes in performance.
Of course.
I have to say, we have been lucky, number one, to be based in Finland, and number two, to be somehow, for some weird reason, somewhat successful with the grants. As we travel in different countries, it comes out repeatedly that most countries don't have this kind of system. We have a lot of foundations and the state of Finland, and for the past 15, 20 years, performance art has been supported. It wasn't before. And I think it's super important because it shows in the field of performance. Finnish-based performance artists make really good work. And not all of them are getting all the grants all the time, of course, but it comes together in a way that shows a result in very high artistic presence or level, I think.
Yeah. We have gotten many grants together, but I don't think I ever got any before we met.
But did you apply?
I
Apply for grants
Yeah.
if you want to have them.
Yes.
That's the number one thing.
I think I had applied for some, but really before we started working together, my life was just about survival. Yeah, I had long bouts, like 3 years of deep depression repeatedly, and all kinds of weird challenges. And yeah, I guess it was the trauma things bubbling up all the time. And yeah, it was all a bit chaotic.
But you were ill. You were really ill.
That's one way of putting it.
And when you're ill, you can create art in some level, but it's too much to ask that you would also finance your art somehow.
Well, yeah, I did all kinds of things. Sound, music, and some visual things. Very rarely performance. But it was just completely different. There was nothing like continued or developed. I just kept trying to do things and they kind of disappeared. And, you know, there were periods that I was completely isolated from people. Which is kind of true now as well. Like these 2 years we've been working on the book and this exhibition mostly. We haven't really seen anyone that much.
But at the same time, these processes bring you together with so many people that you work with, and they are all artists. Some of them were our friends from before, and some of them became good friends of ours during the process.
Yeah.
So this is one of the healing powers with art, because I don't think you could be a hairdresser and try to go through a healing process from a very severe mental issues by cutting people's hairs. Or then you could.
Then you could, yeah.
You did it. Actually, what am I talking about? Poor clients.
Depends on which society and when do we ask that question. But I don't think there's anything that's like eternally true about that. I mean, when was the concept of art as a specific thing even invented? Not so long ago. Could be forgotten tomorrow.
Or then not. I believe it's always been there as long as people have been communicating with each other. And I sometimes half joke that performance art is my religion. I think such a large part of people need some kind of connection and some kind of religious experience, and I don't believe in anything supernatural. I don't believe in God. I don't have a religion, but these things happen through art for me. Feelings about something greater than yourself. I don't know if I could live without that, because I have a lot of friends who, when I say that I don't believe in anything, I see some kind of anguish in their faces or a little bit of pain, and they ask me that, really, like nothing? And that's hopelessness. I don't know if art brings hope, but in one way it is hope, because there's always something new to do.
Yeah, there's this creative urge. I guess some people have more of that. I think for me it's always been essential. I can't imagine living not creating something that wasn't there before.
I think it can also present itself in form of receiving, that not all people feel the need of making it and doing it, but I believe that it comes from the same source when you feel the need of receiving it. I think the creating works in both directions, or maybe it's a circle or a globe of some kind.
So that's why you think art still matters nowadays?
More than ever during in my lifetime, or maybe more than ever during history, when I think about something as simple as social media, for example. So the opposite of it could be performance art.
Well, there's different kinds of performance art, of course, but for us, it's essential that we are present in the here and now.
In flesh.
So online performances are not something we have planned to do.
Yeah, never say never, but now I'm kind of, at the moment I'm saying never.
Yeah.
To online performances.
It doesn't feel like anything, I just see an empty space there. But as more and more our life is online and to do with all kinds of apps, so no human contact really, and our social relations have become, or are becoming more and more, these parasocial relationships that there's someone on the other end, but you can't even be sure if it's a human. So it is kind of very different what we do.
Yeah.
And yeah, well, art can be many things. It can be, political activism, or it can be very abstract and conceptual, and that's all fine with me. But I'm not the kind of person who can really plan what they do.
Oh, I think our days consist of making plans for what we do. But
Well, yeah, probably making plans and forgetting them.
no, you don't, because we write them on the paper and we make these drawings.
And we lose the papers, but I mean, if I was told, okay, now you either die or you come up with a concept, an idea for a performance, and you are going to explain why things happen there and what they represent. I'm like, I'm probably going to fake it. It's the only way through this.
Yeah, but this is also one of the differences between the two of us. I went to art school and you didn't, so I've been joking that I can analyze a carpet on the floor, but to be honest, it's not interesting to me. I'm not into analyzing, and it's once you were asking about writing the grant applications, I think that's one of the worst pains in the bum to be forced to be your own art historian and critic and gallerist.
And on the other hand, of us two, I think I'm the one more interested in academic writing about art and analyzing things.
What would we do without each other?
But
it feels like we are really.
But this has to do more. Like I read a lot. I read every day. Things to do with our society, history, all kinds of things. But it's not part of our creative process. There might be some, afterthought that, I see, here I could be processing my sexual traumas, but it's not the starting points ever.
Or then it's always the starting point, so you don't even see it.
Well, yeah, it could be, but it's not conscious.
Yeah, it's not conceptual, but it's not theoretical.
When you see the documentation, you're like, and it seems like quite a few people have seen the same things there, so maybe we are kind of idiot savants or something.
My pleasure.
But yeah, I like to look at what other people do and have done and how it's sitting in the time and place where it was made. But I don't look at our work in that way.
Coming back to the church paintings from centuries ago.
Now I'm reading a book about utopian socialists from, well, I'm not quite halfway through the book, but it's around the time of the French Revolution. A collection of writings that people, ideas they came up with those days. And it's kind of funny, it's kind of sad.
And how about you, Katri? Are you reading something at the moment?
For the past year, I've been reading again books by Isaac Singer. When I get a lot of stress and my mind is too occupied, I read the same writer again and again, and that's where I find rest for my mind. It feels different every time. Some of the books I've read 3 times by now. So Isaac Singer.
And there was this of mice and men that you were reading as well?
No.
No?
You're probably reading yourself and you're reflecting on it now. No.
No? Isn't that the one where they have this scene in the end of the Roman Charity Act, which is like a variation of the Pieta theme to do with the medieval church images which we did?
You've had a dream and you need to make a book.
Where the young woman...
Men, yeah. Vihan hedelmät.
The grapes of wrath.
Yeah.
Something to do with things that you can eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The right author, I think, but the wrong book. Yeah.
Steinbeck,
yeah.
In this space, it means a lot to me. It's been some 25 years 20 years when I came here. I think it was brand new then, right? And I was an art student and I was really innocent and I was thinking that, I have to ask someone how to book a time in this gallery for myself, that this would be the right size for me. It took some 20 years, but this is a dream come true for me. I think this is the best gallery in Helsinki. I think it's amazing, an amazing place.
How come do you think so?
It's something like when you meet a person and you like that person and you trust that person, maybe it's not so relevant why, but you want to come back to their company.
Quite a few. I've seen some impressive and moving art here. Pauliina Turakka-Purhonen comes to mind.
Oh yes.
And, well, many others. It's somehow different than most galleries in Helsinki. Like, this is it's a bit more kind of friendly, informal. I mean, you could sit on the floor just casually and look at things. And in some other galleries, you don't really get that comfortable.
I always felt like at home here, always, from the first time. I have to take this up. My father is a performance artist, and it's obvious that even if I wanted to, I wouldn't be able to escape his presence, because that's how I grew up with, and I didn't know it's performance art until I was bigger, of course. They have been things that happened around us and our family lived in it. So, yes, my father Pekka, of course. And you mentioned Pauliina Turakka-Purhonen. I see her textile sculpture as performance art. I experience it the same way, things that move. And another really important artist for me is Markus Luiro, with also paintings, but mostly with his drawings. Weird, deep, moving things.
Yeah, these are some of the things that we agree upon. As for performance artists, there are people who do very different things compared to what we do, like Thomas Srama, Viulainen,
John Court.
Oh
my God, yeah.
And what else has moved me a lot? Salla Valle. And, well, quite a few others. And
these are all performance artists that you named.
And, very different to us. But just to know that they are there somehow gives me hope, and sometimes I'm really moved by their performances too. Sadly, I don't always get to experience them. And, well, Kira O'Reilly.
Definitely Kira.
Definitely also very interesting lectures, like captivating, on top of her performance art practice. There's so many people in Finland and abroad who are, but I wouldn't say any of them have a direct influence in our art. It's just more that as people, as artists, they are something that gives me hope. I mean, that there's some kind of, I hesitate to say, meaning in this work that is also totally meaningless. Because basically what we are doing is random acts. That's one way of looking at it.
Yeah, but what I love about it is that you don't have to understand. It's such a relief. And the possibility to get some kind of moments of clarity during, or maybe many years after even experiencing that work.
Yeah, it's a similar feeling that you might get, say, I like to look at birds, especially like crows, and I have no idea what their experience is.
Or what they mean.
But on some level, I get some kind of logic, obviously, what they are doing there. And it's intense, they're very much present, and it kind of feels like magic. At the same time, it's completely alien to me, but I feel a connection, and I know they don't feel the same way. Well, probably they don't feel the same way. And
is there something to it? Because let's think about a painting that you see in a gallery. The artist is totally unaware of you somewhere going on with their lives, and you could be so connected to their work at the same time. So I think nature can provide the same to us, such as birds, for example. They don't care about us, but we can care so much about them.
So true.
Maybe it gives you more space to be with or within whatever you need that moment, because you don't need to necessarily reflect or to communicate. You can just receive.
yeah, there's a certain kind of energy in living things, and maybe also larger systems that are not living, like planets, the universe, that feels important in a different way compared to things that are made with the intention that they are entertaining or comfortable. Like these birds, they are there because they really have no other options. They are surviving their daily life, and something in creating art is similar. So it might not seem like that to many, like, oh no, that's not proper work. Proper work is what you do to survive, but
Like birds do.
yeah, but it's not like wage labor. It's a form of slavery, and it's a very new invention. And birds haven't taken that route. They are still free.
Yeah, but this is again one of the essences of it. I cannot be funny if I intend to. That's what I tried. It was a joke, but but one of the things that I feel is in common for the artists whose work talk to me is that there is no message or there is no intention to teach about a certain thing. It might work the same way as if you try to be really funny, nobody's laughing. So art that suits my taste somehow is something what, like I said, you don't need to understand. So also there, I'm not really into underlined messages in art.
Yeah, it can kind of flatten things out. Still, I do think there is a space for political art that may serve a different function. You know, it's in the here and now, and tomorrow it's gone. But, you know, art can be so many things.
But you were asking about who inspire us, so to kind of bring it together, I would say that the way I described my favorite artists, I think there's something in common with I do and what we do, that there is no intention to give a message. That's inspiring for me to just be yourself.
hardest part, probably, to be yourself.
Yeah.
So true.
Favorite what?
Color.
Color.
My favorite color is represented here. It's from Antti Ahonen's camera. This black in many of the photographs. And now when we printed the photos, it's so delicious. It's definitely my favorite.
That is a really difficult question, because with color it's always about context, and you know that black also looks different depending on the light, so it's not a constant.
This is a typical answer for you.
Yeah, there is no color that I would give up. I say, over my dead body, we need them all. We need more of them. I'm so jealous of these crustaceans that have, what was it, 14 different kinds of cells in their eyes, whereas we have, what is it, 3 or something like that, so they can see colors that we can't even imagine.
So is that your favorite color?
Ultraviolet and infrared and probably beyond that.
Okay.
And black.
And black. Well,
I have this thing that I have to do. When you have a mandarin, a tangerine, and when it's the right ripeness level, and you touch some surface with it, like a wall or the table, that little tap. That's what I would like to have more in my life. I hope my art could be something like that. It's very short and very satisfying.
sound, well, there is sound in our performances, so I'm not going to say white noise, which contains an equal measure of all frequencies, because obviously we don't have that. Maybe some other kind of noise. There's pink noise, which has some frequencies louder than others.
And I absolutely, the sound in our latest performance where you were playing the bedside table like a church bell. That was enjoyable.
As for food, it might be a garbage heap.
Garbage
Heap,
heap.
yeah.
What's garbage heap?
You know, where you throw away your leftover food, as if there is such a thing. I mean, I've heard that some people won't eat bread if it's a few days old. That must be crazy. Yeah, and because in there things are fermenting, becoming something else, something with more vitamins in it. It's like alchemy.
And now that you say, I like performance art because it has a smell to it. Dance art also, but for me performance has worse smells and more of them. I would like to say something else, but probably the smell of these cheap sausages that we've been using is penetrating my mind through, and it's stronger than any pleasant smell that I could now tempt to my mind.
Yes, the cheap sausages.
Ever so present.
A symbol of poverty and opulence. Opulence, both, you decide. Depends on the context, I guess.
But still it can keep you alive in the worst case scenario.
Yeah, and it can also kill you, which is...
The same thing.
Yeah.
It has to do with what were you calling them? The creative gaps. What did you call them?
Blocks.
Blocks. Don't be afraid when nothing comes out. Continue doing things, and if you feel like you can't do them, then do yoga during that time. Yeah.
Now what do you mean?
Don't be self-destructive because other people have hurt you. That would have been kind of a shortcut to...
But that's a good combination. So do like we say, don't do like we do.
Yeah, it's not like I would have listened.
Yeah.
Ooh. Shaking?
And hungry.
Hungry. Yeah, it's almost 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Probably. Thank you very much.
Thank
you very
you.
much for having me. It was amazing. It was lovely to have you this kind of peer-to-peer conversation.
We should do this more often.